Evening, I'm live. The TV lower. All right. Hey, everybody, there's so much news going on here. Right, Raya?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know the news.
So I'm just going to give it a few minutes for people to log on. But anyway, hello again. I was just on Saturday. What? I don't know if you missed that. I was trying to live blog the Easter, the Holy Light.
That was dangerous.
That was the cat. The Holy Light ceremony, the Saturday of Light, the Holy Fire ceremony, and it's just this wild event. But anyway, I would. Oh wait, we've got the IDF spokesperson on now. Okay, so thank you for joining. I'm going to just start because, in case people aren't watching this live and they're watching it like waiting for the live to start, like anytime now, start talking, right? So, in the last few days, I don't know if I should start with like the latest or to go back and lead into what the latest is. Let's start with the latest. Hamas has just announced it will accept a ceasefire with Israel. So that means that all the plans that had been going on all day long of Israel, of the military entering into Rafah, which is this southern city, which is like just all sorts of controversy associated with Israel going into Rafah because of the displaced people who were there. There's over 1 million people, many of whom were displaced and moved there under the orders of the IDF. So they were under the recommendation. It's not the orders of the IDF. IDF recommended go south. We're going to be bombing Gaza City or Khan Yunis. And so eventually more than 1 million people arrived to the south. So then, here, let me turn on the chat. So, hey, Terry, thank you. Yeah, I mean, guys, let me know where you're listening from and stuff. I just find it fascinating that people all over the world are tuning into what's happening here. So the U.S. especially and a lot of other countries have been against Israel going into Rafah, but Israel has been claiming that the only way to decisively defeat Hamas and to rescue the hostages is to go into the city. Now, the city's southernmost border between Gaza, it's where Gaza meets Egypt. And some of the Gazans, the Palestinians, are trying to even get out into Egypt. They have to get permits to go there or to cross the border to be let in by Egypt. So it's a bit crazy. But so they're all there kind of like waiting and trying to get through. Oh my God, Hawaii, jealous. Hi, Louise. So anyway, so Israel was ready to go in actually, and just as this is all gearing up, and this is all happening today, which is Holocaust Remembrance Day in Israel. So for the past 24 hours, literally 24 hours, it started at sunset last night and all day long, we've been hearing only, if you're here anywhere with the Israeli media, only hearing Holocaust survivor stories. There are still remaining survivors alive. Many of them were young. Like one of the chief justices of the Israeli Supreme Court was recounting his story. I think was it Latvia or Estonia that he was in the Holocaust. He was living in a ghetto. And he talked about he was 5 years old and he has very specific memories of that time. So this has been going on for the last 24 hours. And so you've got this like absolute like sea of emotions going through the country. Now, in addition to that, Hamas, which is clearly not disarmed, despite what's happening in in Gaza. Hi, Emily from Rhode Island. Despite what's happening in Gaza, and despite the fact that 35,000 people have been killed, according to the Ministry of Health there, they're still armed. They're still active all around the Gaza Strip. And yesterday, they launched RPGs at a crossing between Israel and Gaza, and they ended up killing four Israeli soldiers, and they're still soldiers in serious condition. Now, meantime, this is just all in the south. We're not even talking about the north. Every day there are rockets from the north, missiles and rockets and drones coming from Hezbollah, which is based in southern Lebanon. And so that is continuing. There are tens of thousands of residents in Israel that are also displaced. I mean, there are over 1 million Gazans who are displaced from their homes. There's the population of Gaza is 2 million, but in Israel, there's and so of that, there like more than half the population is displaced, and many of them now homeless. And in Israel as well, there is a large number. There's tens of thousands of people displaced, still living in hotels or finding temporary housing for their entire community. And they're looking at. I just heard one today say that we're not going to be moving back. I think he said for 3 years. And then even then, they need to consider whether or not they want to move back to one of the kibbutzim, which is right on the border of Gaza. And it's only, of course, depending on the security, if there's going to be security still, or again, or ever, if there ever was. So, so it's Holocaust Remembrance Day here in Israel. Now, if you on my Facebook page. Oh, it's also on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see, if you're on YouTube, go to the podcast tab, and I've got more information there in the latest podcast. And then also, if you're on Facebook, just go to my profile or to the Inside Scoop with Nick Jan, and you'll see the podcast episode, and you can get like some more information about like all of the stuff leading to this. Now, of course, the RPG attack happened after I recorded it, so I don't have that information. But also, so there's another thing. Another drone was launched from Iraq at Israel, and it didn't cross into Israeli territory, and it was shot down. But again, like there's this multi-front war still going on. There's still military activity by the Israelis in Palestinian territories, in in the West Bank. I think in Tulkarem, there was something just going on the other day. Oh, Ohan, how come when I tried to get you live in the Armenian parking lot, you disappeared when I was on a live, and now you're here commenting, but I wanted you like not commenting. I wanted your face here, not there on the chat. Let me see what you have to say. From the start, Israel's goal was to eliminate Hamas as the way to achieve peace. Now what will happen if Hamas will still exist? Exactly what everybody's saying, that all of these people died for nothing. And this is exactly, I read a quote on my podcast. No way I'm going to find it now. I don't want to misquote, but the daughter of a hostage who said exactly this. You're saying that the only way to do this is to go in and get Hamas. Well, where were you for 20 years when you were letting Hamas fester and strengthen their grip in the Gaza Strip, and then arm and build? Now, I was also talking to somebody today. Now, today I was in Sderot. If you don't know about Sderot, it is a city in south of Israel, less than a mile from Gaza, and it's one of the most hardest hit cities by rockets that come from Gaza. And of course, nothing. It was no different on October 7th, and the following weeks. In fact, they're still getting rockets, and it's a city of 35,000. So it's not like the kibbutzim. The kibbutzim are like about 200 families, something like that, like maybe 400 people, something like that. So 400, let's say, like usually between 200 to 600 people that live on a kibbutz, and they all know each other. They're all connected. It's like they usually have shared farms or agriculture or projects or whatever, and everybody knows each other. Now, Sderot is a city, and it's a city of 35,000. It's, if you live in a city, most people outside of Israel, you don't understand what a kibbutz is so much, but you do understand a city. And Hamas, of course, fired rockets at Sderot, but they also, it was one of the cities they also got in. They actually um, took over the police station in the city, and there was a big, like, battle over the police station, and it ended up that it was so destroyed they had to, like, just after Israel regained control of Sderot, they actually brought down the station entirely and have to rebuild it. So it's in the city today, and as we were driving down there, and I just I was thinking about, like, all of these, like, it was in this very city they actually got into a city. So there is no, like, security is just like, there, like, where was the security? That we were talking about while we were driving around there, like, what is it that 3,000, like, there's a fence that, not just a fence, a wall that goes around Gaza, and part of it goes around the West Bank. And if it's so sensitive that if, like, a bird lands on it, or a bug, or a goat that goes by, or like a leaf falls and touches the fence, you get alerted. Like, whoever's, like, on surveillance will get alerted that at such and such a point on the fence this happened. But on that day, 3,000 Hamas militants, activists, terrorists, what's the word, break through on motorbikes and trucks and get through the fence and infiltrated all through the south, probably with the intent of getting north. So how is it that that was not stopped? That's like that, and this is exactly what the protesters are saying, the families of the hostages, which, by the way, there's a protest right now, so I do want to see what they're saying here. Um, and that's exactly what they were saying. Like, how can you talk about security and controlling Hamas when you couldn't even protect us on that day from something that should have been, like, if you can catch one person coming through a fence, how is it you can't catch 3,000 or figure out that they're coming or anything? So Bill has, yeah, I mean, you're saying Hamas's evil, diabolical regime that specifically targeted and murdered, yes, innocent victims. I mean, we saw today, because it's Holocaust Remembrance Day, a lot of Israelis are also in Poland and Germany and at Auschwitz. They do the March of the Living, and it's like to commemorate the Holocaust, and to just keep, never again at the forefront. And one of the people who's there is Tom Hand. He's an Irish Israeli, and he's not Jewish, but he has his daughter Emily, his wife, who passed away, or his ex-wife, I'm sorry. He has two wives, and now one died years ago of natural causes, and the other one was murdered on October 7th. But the one who died of natural causes was the mother of Emily, his daughter Emily. Emily Hand was kidnapped in her pajamas, sleeping over at a friend's house, was kidnapped into Gaza. And so he was there marching and talking about the trauma of that. So let me get you some other things I wanted to tell you. Now, there's a lot of, I don't know if you're interested in all of the political stuff that's going on here. Crazy stuff. All right, so we're waiting now. So a leading Hamas source told Al Jazeera that the group has informed Egyptian and Qatari mediators of its agreement with a ceasefire with agreement with the ceasefire proposal. And so Israel said in response they're checking it and they're going to see. So the political back and forth that was going on uh, is about Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and what a lot of Israelis are saying that they were so close to making a deal for the hostages, and there's one article in an Israeli paper that says that he hoped Hamas would reject the deal, and when it didn't, he tried to sabotage it. I mean, this is like the protests again, like wanting to bring down the government now, are really gaining steam. So that's another thing to watch here in Israel. Now, I mentioned also, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with that one, and I need to have my notes, so I'm not going to go there just now. But another thing I mentioned, Qatar, uh, Qatar. I think I always thought that President Bush, when he said Qatar, I'm like, that just sounds so bad. And I think it's more accurate, actually, according to the Arabic pronunciation, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this. Okay, um, so go to the last podcast that I just had. It's being revealed that Qatar, the nation of Qatar, is one of the biggest donors to American and European universities. And actually, so I just heard a seminar that somebody did where he said that according to their research, he's a researcher, he's in a think tank, and he said that the protests that you see happening in campuses around the U.S. and Europe were the eventual outcome of the Qatari funding of these universities. That he said that this is a way that they're getting the message of the Muslim Brotherhood into the Israeli campuses, and Hamas, of course, is an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood. So, anyway, so that is also interesting to check out. And yeah, you can come now. Somebody wants to. You want to make a statement? I don't know. Any statement.
Don't forget to go to the podcast of the Eurovision.
Oh, they don't know about it yet. No, it's great. We can say live now. So we're going to make this announcement live that forget the podcast about the political stuff. We actually have a special edition podcast, 2 episodes coming out, part 1 and part 2.
Part 1's already out there.
No, it's not out yet. It's just that was in drafts. Why don't I just hit upload right now? I'm going to do that, guys, while you're here. While you're here, watch this. Watch this. We are going to upload the latest and greatest, a podcast, a special episode podcast. Ready? Ready? I know she's going, the
3,
cat's going crazy.
2.
Wait. No. The internet's not that fast. Don't go 3, 2, 1. Okay, ready? I'm going to hit publish.
3, 2, 10.
Are you guys on the edges of your seats right now? Okay, so right now we have just uploaded this special bonus edition podcast of us reviewing the Eurovision. Woo! Yeah, what I know, half of you are saying, like, what's the Eurovision? Well, if you're from America, you may not know. And you would be right to not know. In fact, you would say like your soul has been spared if you don't know what the Eurovision is. I was a Eurovision, let's say, novice. when I it's cuckoo. When I first came to Jerusalem 20 something years ago, and when I started watching it, I was like, oh, it's like a train wreck or a car accident. Like you cannot turn away. Like you have to watch the pageantries, the eccentricity, the flamboyance, like Parr. Yeah, Emily. Okay, Will Ferrell. If you watch the Will Ferrell comedy called Eurovision, it's really, really raunchy. Like the kids will not be watching it for years to come. Okay, but
If it's scary,
so
I'm
I'm
not
not
watching it.
necessarily recommending it. It's not scary.
Then
It's
I'm
really
watching
bad.
it.
That is like the quintessential sarcastic take on the Eurovision that I am trying to express right now. But we got a little bit obsessed with it this year because, well, and last year and the year before, because like suddenly like Israel's doing like a really good job like promoting their contestants. Like they have a show, it's a reality show. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like American Idol. This one's ready to go to Rafah. I don't know. She's like nuts. Okay, so it's like this American Idol show, and then the winner of that will go to Eurovision. So you get kind of caught up in it. It's like it's like watching MasterChef or My Kitchen Rules or whatever. You end up, getting into the show and rooting for your contestant, whatever. And then you got to see what happens at Eurovision. So like they totally suckered us in. But this year Israel has a really good, talented. I mean, last year too, obviously, was she's already a pop star. She didn't win the contest. They flopped the contest. It was so ridiculous. So they just chose like the biggest pop singer that they have, Noah Kirill, and they sent her to Eurovision. She didn't win. She came in third. This year, it's more of like a ground grassroots effort and an unknown singer who won the contest and whatever. So anyway, we did it. We were actually just, truth be told, we were testing the mic. And I was like, well, let's see if we can test the mic while we're listening to something in the background. And so we put it on in the background and we were testing and we were like, giving our honest review of the songs. It was like snippets of each song. And yeah, it's too bad we didn't have it on video. But maybe in that case, I spared you as well of that because it was pretty bad, some of it. So all right, what else? What else is happening? I feel like there was so much, but then, now we're just going to sit around. And I'm going to tell you what Hamas did last week, because what, man, sorry, I'm just checking this stuff. What happened last week was there was going to be like, they were getting really close to a hostage deal. And like I've said before, like I hate reporting on like whether or not there's going to be a deal because it's like just too many highs and too many lows. And usually it pretty much, there hasn't been a hostage deal in 150 plus days. So why, get your hopes up or think it's going to happen or hope anybody gets released or that there would be a ceasefire, obviously, that's what the Gazans want is a ceasefire. I mean, they want the war to stop so they can start rebuilding their lives. So it was so close to that kind of a deal, and then Hamas said, and I think it was on Thursday, Hamas said we're checking the deal, and you can expect a response within hours. And then hours or they said soon, and then they said hours, and then it went on, and it was like all of Thursday, and then Friday, and then Saturday, and there was not a word. And then instead they launched an RPG. They ended up killing 4 soldiers, wounding a dozen. And so Israel said, "All right, that's it. Thanks. We're going into Rafah," which is what the whole world was saying don't do. It's why Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, was here saying don't do it, and that's what happened. Uh, so then Israel was imminently going into Rafah. They even have dropped leaflets telling Palestinians to flee this area or flee that area. This is where we're going in. By the way, Israel says that the remaining hostages are being held there. We're down to 132 hostages, and some estimates say that you're lucky if 70 of them are still alive. There were videos, like proof of life videos, released of 3 hostages during Passover, and so anyway, but other than that, there's it's unclear. And I read somewhere, and I can't confirm this, and there's so much information coming out, and nobody made a big deal about this, so maybe it's not true, but that the American CIA, somebody in the CIA, I think it was the head of the CIA, said that Yahya Sinwar, who's the head of Hamas in Gaza, that he was surrounded by hostages, as human shields. So let's see. Mahmoud El-Habash, advisor to the PA chairman, in an interview with the Al Arabiya Network. Now, if he's with the PA, it means he's the other party of Hamas, said that Hamas gave Israel all the justifications for it to go to war against Gaza. Hamas is also responsible for what happened and what will happen in Rafah. And he said Hamas wants to stay in power more than it wants to release prisoners. Wow. Now that is fighting words from the PA. Let's see. Okay. And then everybody's playing a game. I mean, it could be Hamas is buying time to fortify themselves in Rafah. I don't know. Who knows? Okay. All right. So this is just a lot of opinions. So I'm not going to read all of this. I don't know if this is confirmed, but it looks like that when when Hamas announced that it was interested in a ceasefire, that the Gazans started rejoicing. If this is true. Don't know if I can't confirm that that's really from there right now and not a video from whenever. So, okay, well, so there you have it. We're waiting it again. I don't know if Palestinians attacked the German ambassador when he visited Ramallah, but I know that the German and Danish met with the hostages, and they met with the hostage families. I don't know about that, Ohan. Okay, so before we go, let me get you the link, because I know you're gonna want to hear Lucas and Raya's premiere podcast episode. The link should be in the chat, but you will get to hear the hot off the presses opinion of 2 kids, and actually my parents, who were on FaceTime while we were testing the mic. And it ended up being an actual podcast episode of us reviewing Eurovision. Now, it sounds a little bit inane, and trust me, it is, because the Eurovision is inane. It's crazy. But at the same time, it's about to go down this week, and Israel has issued travel warnings for Israelis to not go. They said that this could be the site of terror attacks, and of course, I mean, they're going into not just anywhere in Europe, but Malmo, Sweden, which is the site of anti-Israel protests on a good day, let alone when there's a war and devastation going on in Gaza. So let me make sure this posted. I'm not sure if it posted to the comments. Oh, hi, Michelle. Said you were listening. Let me see. I don't know if it posted in the Facebook group, so I'm going to do it there, and then I'll try to post it as well in, what do you call it? In YouTube. Right. Anyway, okay, so that's that. I think there's not much more to say.
There is much more.
What is there?
I'm going to a lot.
Well, go ahead. Look at the camera and talk.
Gotta pass it in. So, what day is it? Friday.
Thursday.
On Thursday, I'm going to a lot. What is that in English?
A lot. A lot's a lot.
A lot. And I have a competition. And the competition is on Friday.
Yeah.
And we go back home on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
Because last time we won.
that's right. And hopefully this time you win bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, competition, national competition, all the way in Eilat, which is 4 hours south of here on the border with Jordan and Egypt and across the Red Sea from Saudi Arabia. And it's a beautiful resort town, city. But anyway, I have stories about Eilat, but I won't say them here right now. Like when I was there.
Excellent, Bob.
So,
It's very fun.
people are saying good luck, Raya.
Thank you.
So we'll let you know how that goes too. So, okay. So if you're just joining, I am about to wrap this up, but the headline news is that Hamas says it does want a ceasefire deal. And even though they kind of kept us on the edge of our seats for 5 days, wondering whether or not the deal was going to go through. Today is Holocaust Remembrance Day here in Israel, not the rest of the world. In the rest of the world, it was April 27th. January 27th. And so today was a day of a lot of stories from survivors about the Holocaust. And it's actually still going on right now. We stood for 2 minutes. They have a siren that goes off for 2 minutes for people. No, it was two. It felt like 5, right? But it's 2 minutes, and people actually literally just, if they're driving, they even stop their car and get out and stand in silence. And a lot of people are saying "Never again," which was the slogan of the Holocaust, is now. And they're saying that in regard to the anti-Semitism that seems to be rampant around the world, especially, interestingly enough, college campuses, which I talk about is related to funding of Qatar. And I might as well add that Al Jazeera has been closed down here in Israel. According the Israeli cabinet voted to close down the news agency Al Jazeera. Wow, did they say YouTube is blocked in some Wow.
What?
Oh. Oh, how sad. My YouTube has been blocked in some our Eurovision video because of the music we play in the background. It has copyright violations. Is Daniel saying mom? Daniel, what's happening? Daniel, you want to say hi to the world? Okay. So it's a wrap on that. And let me know if you can't watch that, if you can't see that podcast, or you may not be able to see it on YouTube, but maybe you can see it at that link. We'll see what happens. I don't know. All right. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Check out the podcasting debut of Raya and Lucas.
Don't forget.
And their grandparents.
Don't forget.
Don't forget. And subscribe so you make sure to get part 2, which will be coming out probably tomorrow, since the Eurovision is like any day now. And stay tuned and subscribe to find out if the Eurovision goes off without a hitch safely, and who wins, if you really care. Do we care? Not sure. We care if somebody really good wins, then we'll be very happy. But usually it's disappointing. It's like usually a political vote. Like everybody likes Ukraine this year. So, like, the year like Ukraine got invaded, Ukraine won the Eurovision. Like, woo, big shock. Everybody votes like for their it's crowd voting, a little bit of judges, but crowd as well. Like everybody in every country that's involved. Yes, what?
Okay, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn the notifications on.
Yeah.
Don't forget to do that so you don't have to watch the news. You can watch and then my mom could tell you more about the war. And to tell you if it's
Gonna hire
safe to
her.
come here.
We're gonna hire her. Yeah, and it's safe to come here for the most part. Check back tomorrow though.
Bye.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a great day, night, wherever you are, whatever's happening, and